This is probably one of the most difficult should you summons I've ever had to make. A lot of people may say this is an easy choice. A lot of people may say that this is an absolute must summon because Summer Chloe is here and so many people, including myself, have been hyping up this character. But I won't lie to you guys. Over the last few weeks, since this crossover's been out, I've been really trying to break down this question and really trying to think about, is Summer Chloe actually worth the crystals, or is it okay to skip this character? Well, to answer if Summer Chloe and Bazette are worth it, let's break them down and tell you all my thoughts that I currently have. Summer Chloe is all about supporting the team, especially if you're using light units with her, you're getting just more benefit from her. She's able to lower light res on the enemies. She's also able to buff up all allies stat res. She has a true art that's able to arch gen for everyone, but if you're a light ally, you get 2 additional art gauge, so you have 7 arts per second on that bad boy. The super art is able to buff up everybody's damage by 150% and human allies damage by 100%. She has one unique passive that is definitely noteworthy here. It's going to be the heal all allies HP by 400 per second, which is, I mean, I don't even have to say why this is so insane. It's literally the fact that this is active constantly, and just having a constant heal for everyone is ridiculous. And it also gets better when you use that true art, and by the way, you're going to be using that true art quite a bit since that's your main arch-shinning tool. The weakest part of her kit, in my opinion, would be her slot, since she has the physical, heal, 4-star magic, or 4-star support slot, which of course, being more of this supporter role, well, you know, definitely isn't necessarily the greatest. But let's actually list what makes Summer Chloe so good in this game. Of course, one of the things that's insane about Chloe is the amount of arch-gen she's able to give. If you're on Monolite, over the course of 20 seconds, you would have gained 140 art gauge. Not even factoring equips or anything else, you're getting half a super art with just 1 unit. Another thing that is of course an extreme benefit of Chloe is the constant healing that just gets better when you are arch-genning. She also has the 100% status res on the art that lasts for 15 seconds. That's insanely good in any type of content that's inflicting statuses onto you. She has an insane damage buff for human allies, of course, and regular allies get a pretty solid buff too. And then the last one here is a little bit niche. Not everybody's gonna, you know, see this unless you're using her Monolite, but she can hold Light Relic Tin-Cane. Before Summer Chloe, the main unit that would hold Light Relic Tin-Cane was actually Mako. But since Mako is starting to sizzle out a bit, since she's just an awoken unit, it's nice to see that there is at least someone else that can hold that Light Relic Tin-Cane so you can make use of all of the light relics. And those right there are my main pros with Chloe. But I think there's some cons that are definitely big with Summer Chloe. The main one that I have that I think is going to be the worst for a lot of people, especially if you have been here since Kill la Kill. She has to compete with one of the best support units in the game, which is Hoka.
That doesn't make sense. She's more of a Monolite character. Hoka can be used with practically everybody. Of course, Chloe can be used with everybody. Why would they have to compete with each other? They're both support units.
That is because of the art gauge system, ladies and gentlemen. Chloe and Hoka are the exact same arch-gen typing, type E. Thus meaning she doesn't only have to compete with Hoka, she has to compete with every other crossover unit that arch-gens. And I would say in most situations outside of Monolite, you will not be using Chloe over Hoka. Just because Hoka is arch-genning a bit better than Chloe, especially if you're the leader of a team, right? Not only that, he's kind of able to make an entire team crit by himself. He has crazy amounts of damage up, which actually outweighs Chloe's damage buff on her super art. Not to mention the slots are just overall better with Hoka's. And to top it all off, she has no self-sufficient art gauge in her kit outside of her true weapon. This isn't really that big of an issue nowadays, but still is a bit of like, you know, why is that not there? The fact that the skill just reduces enemies damage res and it doesn't give her a burst of art gauge instead is kind of a, I would say, misplay on the dev's part. I would have much rather preferred just to have this unit get into her kit a lot faster than just have, this is another way for me to buff up the damage for the team. There's also one other thing that I haven't mentioned yet, and that is the fact that Chloe is actually having to compete even on her Monolite team. The Monolite team has so many high value characters. If we would build best Monolite team in the game currently, I would say it would go something like this: BF Emperor, Star God Lisa, and Senki are the 3 that you would go for. Star God Lisa for the equipment CT, the buffing she gives to light allies damage, and also the amazing mechanic that is Ether Recast. Emperor is able to give you vast amounts of damage res down on the enemy while also being able to arch for the entire team, while also making your entire team a bit faster since he's able to buff up support equipped CT speeds on the team. Not to mention too, he also has the whole thing where if he super arts, he reduces his own equipment CTs by half, so you can practically have 100% uptime on certain defense equips with this character. That she has a damage res buff on that true art, on top of the fact she's also giving everyone a 130% arts damage buff, which of course is universal. She also has an accuracy buff on the super art, massive light res down as well, and overall is just a fantastic unit if you need to tank some stuff on Monolite. Either way though, these would be my 3 at the current moment out of all the light units that are the goated light units. These 3 are the ones that make the team what it is. Outside of these 3, the last unit is extremely competitive, as I just mentioned. You can throw on Saiger for more defense equips and more survivability with her barriers, plus a massive nuke on the super art. Not to mention, if you want crit rate, you can also throw on Ilya, right? In JP, we just got this unit, but Alpha is another character that has a 5-star heal slot, so they can be used on Monolite and hold Light Relic Tincane. And not only that, they also arched in for the team and reduce enemies' crit res by 100%. So that's another crit option for Monolite, while also being able to buff up everybody's physical damage, and it's a ramping physical damage. Every time you activate the super art while its effect is up, you get an additional 100% physical damage up to a maximum of 400%. Not only this, if you ever need an oh crap button, technically you have that with Alpha, because if she gets near death, you heal everybody by 100% HP and you get 50% DR for the entire team for 10 seconds. This slot is heavily competitive, and in some situations, you just may not want to slot in Summer Chloe all the time. Nowadays, we don't always need a healer, and even if we do, we can heal ourselves even without needing a healer on the team. Lisa Smart Skirt, Fina Devil Wings, True Shooting Star, these are just a few options to heal us without actually needing a healer on the team. So all in all, what does this mean for Summer Chloe? If you are building the Monolite team, then Summer Chloe is good to have, just to have the extra option. Will you use her all the time on Monolite? For right now, it's possible, but in the future, once we get our other pieces to the puzzle, like BF Emperor, Alpha, and even other light units that have yet to come out, it's likely that Summer Chloe won't always be on your team because you may not always need a turn to her. Outside of Monolite, is this character worth summoning? If you're brand new to the game, absolutely. However, if you started playing during Kill la Kill and you have Hoka, and Hoka is your main archer, he's been the one you're using this entire time, and you're brand new to the game, Summer Chloe is not going to be worth it for you because you cannot use them on the same team in terms of archer. Yes, you miss out on a character that could be used later on with Monolite, but I don't think it's the biggest miss in the world at the same time. So yeah, I know that took a long time, and that was just talking about Chloe, but that is all my thoughts when it revolves around summoning specifically for Chloe. Now let's talk about Bazette. Bazette is a unit that I have been looking forward to for so long. I'm not even like a huge fan of this character in Fate or anything. I just think her kit is really cool. It's just a very fun design kit. Her kit's all about countering the enemy. It's like Roy's OG art, where she's able to deal crazy amounts of super art damage back at the boss, plus also buff up her accuracy. However, you don't have to counter in order to get like the crazy amounts of damage. You also can just use the super art regularly because you get a 250% damage up and 100% accuracy when you use that super art. But if you want to specifically play around the bosses, arts, and stuff like that, you can, and I actually really love this. She has the true art that's very similar to that of BF Emperor, and when you use her true art, she reduces her own defense equips by half, and then for 20 seconds, she reduces enemies' water res by 80%. This is extremely strong in Mono Water or just any other team that would use Summer Bazette, because in certain situations, as I mentioned before with BF Emperor, you can pretty much have 100% uptime on certain equips which is wild. Having 100% uptime on certain defense equips would literally make some of the toughest fights in the game significantly easier. The last thing here is actually her unique passive, which does give her 100% defense ignore when her own HP is 70% or higher, so you don't even have to supply this unit with any type of crit chance or defense ignore. She already has it built into the kit. So now on to the verdict of the banner, which we already kind of talked about to an extent. Should you summon on this banner or should you not? I personally believe this banner is worth a summon bare minimum. Now, are these characters pity worthy? That kind of comes down more so to the player. Like I said before, if you're brand new to the game and you just start playing during the Fate crossover, I absolutely believe Chloe is 100% worth going for. She's absolutely worth your crystals because she's going to help you tremendously. However, if you have been playing since Kill la Kill and you managed to pick up Hoka, Chloe isn't that much sought after, especially if you have no interest in building Monolite. If you are someone that wants to build Monolite and wants to have as many options available to you as possible, then Chloe is worth getting. But if you're one of the lucky few that have Hoka and already have some of the other pieces to Monolite, and you don't think Chloe is that much of a necessity, or you don't even care about having the option to begin with, skip Chloe and wait for other light units later on down the line. Whereas if you should summon for this banner specifically for Bazette, I don't think it's really worth summoning just for Bazette. She's just a damage dealer, and if you need a damage dealer, it's better just to go for Summer Miyu over Bazette because Summer Miyu is just so much better. However, she's still going to be a fun unit that you can mess around with and definitely get a lot of use out of, so there's that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for this video. Tell me down below what you all think about Summer Chloe and Summer Bazette. Do you guys think I'm being too harsh on Summer Chloe? Do you guys think that she definitely deserves being a must summon nowadays, similar to that how Hoka was? Or do you think that she was just overhyped to begin with and really she was never ever extremely broken? Let me know all that type of stuff down below in the comment section. By the way, if you want to check out any of the showcases on the channel, any of the Fate showcases, I have a Fate showcase popping up on your screen right now and my most recent video popping up as well. Oh, and before you leave, don't forget to drink water.